When did your brain suddenly go, "Get out now"? And it was right? Story 1. When I was 19, I was doing that aggressively stupid solo backpacking builds character phase in Europe, which honestly is just poverty with better scenery. I met this other Australian girl in Spain, and we instantly bonded over being tiny, exhausted, and visibly easy to throw into a van. Fantastic survival strategy, really. Anyway, we get stranded getting into Rome at like 2 in the morning because every train in Italy apparently operates on vibes instead of schedules. We finally drag ourselves to this hostel near Termini station, and the lobby looked like a serial killer's tax office. Tiny room, flickering light, dude at reception staring at us like he was pricing livestock. He tells us, "No room here, sister." Hostel, already bad. Any sentence involving sister hostel at 2 a.m. feels illegal somehow. But we were desperate and dumb, which is backpacker culture in a nutshell. So this other gigantic dude appears out of nowhere in filthy clothes, and they start talking in another language while side-eyeing us. Not Italian either. At this point, my brain is going, dude. Hello? They walk us through these empty alleyways to this random unmarked door. One guy makes a call. Somebody cracks the door open like we're entering a vampire meeting, and suddenly we're inside this black light basement nightmare. I swear to God, the room looked like a deleted scene from Hostel. Dirty, couch, sheets everywhere. Smelled like cigarettes and regret. Then they go, "Rooms are downstairs." Downstairs. There was another staircase leading deeper underground. Absolutely the fuck not. And listen, maybe it was innocent. Maybe there really were beds down there and complimentary mints or whatever, but my nervous system clocked out before my logic could even file paperwork. My friend and I literally shoved past these dudes and sprinted back upstairs like raccoons, escaping a burning dumpster. The men kept yelling after us, all offended, like we were being rude. Sir, if your accommodation requires descending into a glowing murder basement beneath Rome at 2 a.m., your Yelp reviews should reflect that. Story 2. When I was 17, I got super into jogging because apparently every teenage girl goes through at least one phase where she thinks, maybe suffering voluntarily before sunrise will fix my life. So every morning, I'd run to my boyfriend's house. We'd do this little loop around the park together, then head home before school like we were training for absolutely nothing. And every single morning, there was this guy. Same car, same spot, just sitting there watching us run. Not normal people. Watching either, like statue still, serial killer, NPC behavior. After a while, I started seeing him near my neighborhood too. He'd park along my route, watch me jog past, then somehow end up at the park before we got there. My boyfriend kept acting like I was dramatic, which honestly should be printed on teenage boys' birth certificates. Then one morning, it was foggy as hell. Like horror movie fog, the kind where your brain starts narrating your death in advance. I'm crossing the street, and suddenly headlights blast on full beam right in my face. I stop because I can't see anything, and thank God I did, because when my eyes adjusted, there he was, standing outside his car, trunk open, just waiting. No music, no movement, just this dude standing there like he'd rehearsed it. I don't even remember turning around. My body hit emergency exit mode before my brain caught up. I ran home so fast, I probably broke land speed records fueled entirely by female intuition and unresolved anxiety. Reported it to the cops, too. They basically shrugged. Cool, cool, cool. Love that for us. Then 2 years later, a teenage girl got kidnapped exactly like that. Stuffed into a trunk, taken out to the countryside, assaulted, left for dead. Same car, same description. And that's the part that still messes me up. Because every now and then, I think about how close you can get to becoming a news story without even realizing it at the time. Story 3. When I was like 14 or 15, my school did one of those fun educational class trips that's really just underpaid teachers trying to stop teenagers from dying near a beach for 4 days. We were walking around at night feeling invincible, because apparently that's what being a teenage girl is. Zero frontal lobe activity mixed with unlimited confidence. So me and 3 other girls are wandering through the main strip when this guy walks up asking if we liked tattoos. And obviously we were like, yeah, because we were children. Tiny idiots. Human Capri Suns with hoop earrings. He goes, "My guys tattoo anybody. Don't worry about age," then winks at us. And listen, maybe there are situations where a grown man offering illegal alley tattoos to minors sounds normal. I personally cannot think of one. But the other girls were giggling and curious, so we followed him anyway, because teenagers collectively share one survival instinct, and usually leave it at home. He takes us down this alley to this sketchy little metal door and opens it. Inside were like 5 dudes sitting around in near darkness with only this nasty red light glowing in the room like Satan's basement photography studio. That was it. Every cell in my body went nope. Immediate evacuation. My nervous system basically grabbed the wheel and punched the gas before my brain even finished buffering. I just screamed, "Run!" and bolted, didn't look back, which I still feel kind of horrible about, honestly, because I was sprinting so hard I didn't even check if the other girls were behind me until way later. Pure prey animal behavior. If there was cartoon smoke behind me, I wouldn't be surprised. Next week back at school, they literally showed us a newspaper article with that same guy's face in it. Him and several others got arrested for human trafficking. So yeah, turns out my panic attack had excellent instincts. Story 4. When I was around 8, my sister was maybe 10 or 11, and we were staying at my grandpa's house because our new house was still being built, which sounds exciting as a kid until you realize construction delays just mean your entire family lives on top of each other while adults argue about drywall. Anyway, my sister and I were outside playing when this van creeps around the corner, and I know creepy van sounds fake because every white van story sounds fake right up until somebody ends up on Dateline. But this thing hit every alarm bell my little elementary school anti-kidnapping assembly had installed in my brain. Tinted windows, slow roll, weird vibe. Like if a van could breathe through its mouth, this one would've. The driver spots us and suddenly speeds up a little. I remember telling my sister, real calm at first, "We should go inside." Meanwhile, my internal organs were already filing evacuation paperwork. She stands up, I glance back again, and this dude slides the side door open while the van is still moving and just stares directly at us. Absolutely not. Nope. Instant childhood survival mode unlocked. We ran inside and locked the door so fast we probably left friction burns on the floor. I peeked through the window and saw the van crawling past while this guy leaned out scanning our yard like he was shopping at Target. Told my mom later, and she did the classic parent thing where they try not to freak kids out. Probably nothing. Which honestly, fair. Parents gotta balance trust your instincts with please stop thinking every van contains a murderer. Then the next morning, my grandpa wakes us up saying cops are down the street asking about the van. A little girl had been taken. Security cameras caught the same van driving by our yard with the side door open and a guy hanging halfway out looking at us. Months later, they found the van. Then eventually, they found the little girl too. That part still sits in my chest weird, because when people talk about gut feelings, they make it sound spiritual or dramatic or whatever. Mine wasn't dramatic. It was literally just a tiny voice going, "Hey, this feels wrong, run." And thank God we listened. Story 5. When I was 17, I had this guy stalking me on and off for years, which sounds dramatic until you realize stalking is basically just terrorism with worse legal consequences somehow. Like every time I thought he'd disappeared, boom, there he was, again lurking around my life like a malware pop-up. One day I'm walking home from sixth form and I noticed this car creeping behind me. Not normal traffic creeping either, like National Geographic predator tracking wounded gazelle creeping. Immediately my brain goes, nope, nope, nope. So I randomly hop onto a bus, even though it wasn't my usual route. Didn't even have a full plan, honestly. My strategy was basically get inside giant public vehicle and figure out the rest later, which surprisingly, solid instinct. Then while I'm sitting there trying to convince myself I'm overreacting, my phone buzzes. It's him. This psycho sends me a picture of my school taken literally moments earlier. Then sends the names and addresses of 2 of my friends. I swear my soul left my body so fast it probably violated air traffic laws. That's when everything stopped feeling creepy and started feeling horrifyingly real. Like before that, I'd kind of done the thing girls do where you downplay danger because otherwise you'd spend your whole life screaming in parking lots. But seeing those messages? Immediate full-body panic, hands shaking, could barely breathe. Turns out this dude had driven over 100 miles trying to grab me and one of my friends. And he just missed us because I got on that bus and she'd gone home early. Which is insane to think about because my entire survival, basically, came down to one random split-second decision fueled by anxiety and vibes. The cops finally took it seriously after that. Dude got prison time, restraining orders, the whole thing, then immediately violated the order because apparently stalkers treat legal boundaries like optional side quests. So they added another 5 years. And honestly, the weirdest part is how normal the day started. That's what always sticks with me. I was literally just walking home, thinking about snacks or homework or whatever dumb teenage thing I cared about at the time, completely unaware I was one bad decision away from ending up on a true crime podcast with sad piano music behind it. Story 6. I took my friend out for drinks because she just had a baby like 12 weeks earlier and was deep in that sleep deprivation stage where your soul temporarily leaves your body and lives behind your eyeballs. Girl needed one night of feeling human again. Just one. We were supposed to have a couple drinks, complain about men, maybe cry in a bathroom a little. Standard healing ritual. Everything was normal at first. Loud music, sticky tables, overpriced cocktails that taste like melted candy, and regret. Then I go to the bathroom. I come back maybe 5 minutes later, and she's suddenly doing shots with some random dude at a nearby table. And listen, I know how this sounds. Plenty of people are friendly at bars. I'm not usually paranoid. But the second this guy looked at me, every instinct in my body started screaming like a car alarm. There was just nothing behind his eyes. Not drunk guy energy, not flirtatious, not even human. Honestly, just cold, mean, like he was already angry at us for existing. I remember thinking very clearly, oh, this man is dangerous. No dramatic reason either, which somehow made it worse. He wasn't yelling, wasn't acting weird. My brain just hit the emergency eject button immediately. So I grabbed my friend's hand and went, loud as hell, we are leaving, now. Didn't explain, didn't negotiate, didn't even grab the tab, which for me is huge, because I'll usually risk death before inconveniencing a bartender. The guy just stared while we left too. Didn't argue, didn't smile, which somehow scared me more, like if evil worked customer service. Next day I dragged myself back to pay, because guilt apparently survives even in fight or flight mode. And the bartender goes, oh yeah, that guy got arrested last night. Turns out, after we left, he attacked a woman outside the bar, and I swear to God, I sat there holding my debit card, thinking about how close danger can get before your brain fully catches up. Like sometimes survival isn't bravery or martial arts or carrying pepper spray. Sometimes it's literally just your nervous system going, girl, get the hell out, before your conscious mind has assembled the slideshow presentation explaining why. Story 7. A couple years ago, I decided to save like $12 by walking home from the bar at 1 a.m. instead of getting an Uber, which is exactly the kind of financial decision drunk people make, right before ending up as a local news warning segment. So there I am, stumbling down this dark main road in heels that suddenly felt designed by the CIA for psychological warfare, trying to act sober enough that nobody notices I'm one vodka soda away from falling directly into traffic. Then, this pickup truck slows down beside me. 2 guys inside. Passenger leans out and goes, hey, you need a ride somewhere? Now, normally I'm polite to a fault, like I apologize to furniture after walking into it. But something about these dudes made every internal alarm start blasting immediately. So I lied and said, no thanks, my ride's almost here. They stare for a second, then go, all right, and drive off. And for half a second, I actually felt bad. Like, wow. Maybe they were just being nice. And now I'm profiling random men because I watch too much true crime. Then I see their brake lights come on farther down the road. No stop sign, no intersection, just stopped. My drunk brain sobered up real quick after that. Instant chemical reset. Suddenly I'm basically Jason Bourne with lip gloss. I remember thinking very clearly, oh, they're waiting for me to walk closer. So I duck into this tiny parking lot and crouch behind a vending machine like a terrified raccoon, which, by the way, is not a dignified hiding place. My entire survival strategy was apparently become one with the Sprite machine. And then, I swear to God, the truck pulls into the lot, slowly circling, looking. At that point, my heart was beating so hard I could hear it in my ears. They drove around once, then again, clearly searching for me. Meanwhile, I'm folded behind this vending machine, trying not to breathe too loud because suddenly every horror movie decision made perfect sense. After a minute, they finally drove off. I stayed hidden for a while longer before ordering the most expensive Uber of my life and, honestly, worth every cent. Because apparently my choices that night were either spend money on surge pricing or potentially get murdered by men in a pickup truck named something like Travis and Skull Travis. Story 8. A friend and I got out of a midnight movie around 2:30 a.m. and I stopped at this gas station because drunk brain me decided I urgently needed a Yoo-hoo, which, if you've never had one, tastes like somebody described chocolate milk to water from another room. Still incredible, though. I will not be taking criticism at this time. Anyway, I walk in, grab my sacred little bottle of chemical cocoa sludge, turn around, and instantly the vibe is wrong. 3 dudes walk in together. One stops by the entrance. One hangs near the register pretending to study chips like he's writing a doctoral thesis on Doritos. The third guy crouches near the employee door where the cashier can't see him. 3 of them look at me at the exact same time. You ever have a moment where your brain assembles a full crime documentary in like half a second? Because mine absolutely did. Immediate internal narration. Tonight on Dateline, I walk up to the counter trying to act normal while my nervous system is already halfway through filing evacuation paperwork. The cashier looks terrified too. Doesn't even scan my drink. Just slowly turns the scanner toward me like, brother, survival is now a group project. So I scan my own damn Yoo-hoo, throw cash on the counter, and casually walk out past door guy, trying not to move like prey. Which is harder than you'd think, because suddenly I forgot how human legs function. I get in the car and immediately chuck the Yoo-hoo at my buddy while smashing the emergency button that calls 911. And while I'm whisper shouting details to dispatch like I'm in some low-budget crime thriller, this idiot beside me thinks I'm generously offering him a beverage during an emergency. So this man, this absolute raccoon of a person, starts chugging the Yoo-hoo at full speed while I'm actively reporting a possible armed robbery. Like, bro, read the room. Couple miles later, we see cop cars flying toward the station, called non-emergency the next day, and the cashier apparently told police he knew they were about to rob the place too. They bolted right after I left. So technically, I may have prevented a robbery armed only with anxiety, a 2002 Chevy emergency button, and one emotionally supportive chocolate drink. Story 9. When me and my buddy were like 14, we decided sneaking out at night was a fantastic idea because teenage boys have the survival instincts of expired yogurt. There was this little field near my house, surrounded by trees with a creek running through it, and for some reason, I got obsessed with seeing it at night under just starlight. In my head, it was gonna feel all deep and cinematic or whatever. In reality, it was 2 dumb kids wandering into predator territory wearing Walmart hoodies. So we sneak out around 10 p.m. and start walking there. Everything's quiet, except bugs and the creek and our shoes crunching gravel. Normal, spooky nighttime stuff. Then, out of nowhere, and I mean out of nowhere, this feeling hits me. Not anxiety, not nervousness, just pure animal dread. Like every cell in my body simultaneously stood up and went, "We are leaving." I stopped dead and told my friend, "Dude, we gotta turn around. Right now." And of course, because he was 14 and legally required to be annoying, he starts roasting me immediately. "Aw, what's wrong, booby face McGee? You scared?" First of all, devastating insult. Really elite middle school bullying there. But I was dead serious. Like heart pounding, stomach dropped, hair standing up serious. I told him, "No, dude, I'm serious. I'm leaving. You can go if you want." And for a second, I honestly thought he was gonna keep going alone, which, in hindsight, would have turned this into a very different story, and probably a school assembly. Eventually, he follows me back while calling me a pussy the entire walk home, because obviously. Then the next day, we find out a mountain lion attacked a guy walking his dogs literally like a quarter mile from where we were heading. Time? Around 10:30, which was maybe 15 minutes after we bailed. And listen, I know people love making instincts sound mystical, but I genuinely think my brain noticed something before I consciously processed it. Maybe silence, maybe a smell, maybe animals suddenly shutting up. I don't know. All I know is something deep in my lizard brain grabbed the emergency brake hard. And honestly, being called Booby Face McGee for retreating is still preferable to getting turned into a National Geographic reenactment. Thanks for hanging out and surviving these nightmare stories with me. If your instincts are screaming at you, maybe listen. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next weirdly terrifying video.